what's been the secret to getting to 3 million followers, man? That is a lot of people.
Most people don't know this about me, but I enjoy talking about business and content much more than I enjoy talking about communication. And the reason for that is, how do I say this without sounding crude? I'm really good at what I do. So I know everything inside about communication. Of course, there's things to learn, but it's the same thing over and over again. With business and sales and content, I don't get to talk about it enough. So when someone asks me about those, I'm just ready to unload on them. So just get ready for all the things that I'll put on you. I got started with YouTube because someone had reached out to me. I was the public speaking guy in campus, and I was very visible. So someone said, "Hey, can you talk more about the university and what it's like?" So I would individually be messaging those people. This is my experience. This is how to get a part-time job. And then eventually I started getting so many of those. I said, okay, let me just make a video talking about my university. And I made that first video, and I realized no one else had reviewed my university before. And I got 10,000 views in the first 2 months. And to the point where in orientation, they would literally show my video in a giant banner on campus. And I became that channel where I was just teaching people to come in and how to succeed in Canada. And eventually, after I graduated, I no longer wanted to make that content. So I started making content on how to get a job, how to succeed, because my first job after being a receptionist was as a recruiter. So I got to see the inside of what the resumes look like, and many of them didn't look very pretty, especially from students. I was like, okay, can we ditch this flowery background design and go with something? So I was making content around that. And eventually I decided I enjoy helping people with interviews the most, and that's because I had this background in communication training. One day I'll eventually have to make the switch. So in what was it, 2022, I believe, I very reluctantly, I had all these videos from YouTube where my girlfriend said, "Hey, why don't you just put some of these on TikTok and see what happens?" And I said, "TikTok? This dance app? Who the heck is going to watch my videos from there?" It might have been 2021, actually. So I put on 8 videos on TikTok, and then I just forgot about it. I never checked it. It was not a concern of mine. I checked it a week later. My girlfriend said, "Hey, did you see your followers?" I said, "What do you mean?" And I checked. I had 8,000 followers. This is interesting. And then I started paying more attention to it, and I made more and more videos. In the first month, I got 20,000. In the first 3 months, I was at 100,000. I feel like 12, 13 months in, I was at 1 million. So it did not take me very long. Then I had that same issue with Instagram. I don't want to use Instagram. The app is dying. Meta stock is plummeting. Who cares? TikTok is a new thing. And in 2023, last year, actually, funny enough, in May of last year, I made my Instagram account. What I did was, many people in India, was it India? Yeah, India, the TikTok app was banned. And they said,
Yes.
"Hey, we can't watch any of your content. Can you also put it on Instagram?" So I said, "Sure." I put it on Instagram. Same exact thing. Let me just take what's on TikTok and put it there and forget about it. First 30 days, 10,000 followers. I said, "Oh my God, are we going to do this again?" And then it took me 2 months to get to 100,000 and 8 months to get to 1 million. And about just today, I hit 2 million, actually. So it's been about a year and a half, and we hit 2 million. So at that point, people said, you probably have a knack for making content, right? I never really thought about that. Maybe I do. I haven't really heard a lot of people make this kind of progress. So it didn't take me very long to get to where I'm at now, but I'm happy to break that down if you want.
Yes, please. I knew about your Instagram because I saw sometime last year or early this year that you'd hit 1 million. And
Mm.
then recently, when I saw, I was like, oh my God, you have jumped double that amount in just a couple of months.
Yeah.
So the growth has been phenomenal. Now, and especially the fun part here is that you've just put out videos and forgotten about them, and you've come back and
Mm.
seen, but there is definitely some method to the madness. Now there are content creators out there who are looking to grow on social media.
Hmm.
If that's something, if they were to reach out to you for advice, Yasir, that what do we do, how do we make sure that we grow? Because I've seen those videos. uh, I have a little bit of an understanding, but I want you to explain in your words that what would you advise to an upcoming content creator how to grow on social media?
Let's get a little bit more nuanced. Is this with the intention of just becoming famous or to run a business? What's the intention behind it?
I think eventually everybody starts with trying to acquire and build a community, or at least be famous, and then they want to see that, hey,
Mhm.
can it go anywhere? Majority.
Okay, so if I wanted to make a lot more money, I
Hmm.
would go back in time and restart my channel and only make videos for CEOs. That's what I would do. I was at this mastermind. You've heard of Alex Hermosi before?
Yes.
So he had a workshop in Vegas, and I went there, and there were people with 4,000 followers, 5,000 followers, making $2 million a year. And I'm looking at my account, like I have 1.8 million, and I don't make as much money as you do. What the heck are you doing? And something one of the he had a chiropractic business. I forget what his name was, but he said if I went viral, my business would crash. So what are you talking about? My entire strategy is to go to viral. He's like, no, I make content to help chiropractors grow in their business. Every single view, every single follower on my channel is a chiropractor. Why would anyone else watch my videos? I've been told to make those satisfying videos of how to crack your back and get millions of views. But if I had that happen, my business would plummet because every single time someone follows me, I immediately send them a personal message. Hey, thank you so much for following me. I notice you have a chiropractic practice. What's going on? And I establish conversation with them. And out of 5 conversations, I sell one of them on my $5,000 to $10,000 program. Now, if I had millions of people, I can have those conversations with them. How will I sort through who's a chiropractor and who's not? That was such a huge shift in my mind where I thought you need to get famous to be successful. No, you can have very few followers, have an expensive service, and be extremely wealthy. And I feel like many people don't know how to do that, including myself. I didn't know that. So if I were to go back, that's the first thing I would have done. Now, there are some benefits of being more famous. When people see your follower count, instantly your credibility goes sky high. Like, oh, he has 2 million followers. I've had people, again, I keep thinking, is this person confidential or not? I've had people who they've gone to companies that have been in the industry for 30, 40 years doing media training and they're best in class, but they've seen my videos. They know what I'm like. They know what it's like to talk to me. They said, Yasir, I know these people do better. I've seen your stuff. I want to work with you. I'm willing to wait till you have slots available just so I can work with you. That's something a good social media following will do for you. Now, let's break it down into how to grow it, regardless of
Hmm.
which way you want to take it. The only difference would be the kind of content you make. So, let's say you just want to go niche with CEOs or whoever your ideal client is. You would keep the volume the same, but you would make content just for that avatar. So, for example, Chirag, if you are a dentist with 2 branches, or at least 2 branches. So I would say if you're a dentist with at least 2 locations, this is what you can do to open your third. Now, the audience is limited to like this many people out of all of humanity. It's irrelevant to everyone, but everyone who watches it is highly relevant. So, what you would do is you would make content just for them. But now, let's assume you want to make content for as many people as possible. Maybe you're in fitness, maybe you're talking about career coaching, applies to a lot more people. Here's what I did. I don't want to tell you what to do because I don't know your life. When I started on TikTok and I started to get that initial traction, Chirag, I was making up to 25 videos a day in one single day. So what I would do is I would sit in front of my camera, I would hit record, I would go through all the most common questions my client get asked. How do I open a speech? How do I close a speech? And I would say, okay, how do I open my speech? Here's how you would open your speech. You say X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. How do I not open my speech? Here's the worst way to open your speech. Don't do this, X, Y. And I would just say that for about an hour and a half or however long it would take me. And then I would upload them literally that day, all 25 videos, because I did not realize you could schedule these videos too. That it took me about 6 months to realize maybe you don't have to upload all of them right now. Maybe you can space them out, right? But at least on TikTok, that's what allowed me to grow really fast because I got repetition very, very quickly. And I got to know what kind of content pieces work really well. So one of the ones that I was doing was, is this person a good public speaker? And now you'll see a lot of public speakers in the space have taken this format. I'll have a client who'll say, hey, this is my boss. This is his speech. Can you make a video about him on your TikTok? And I'll make it. And then 3 months later, some other public speaking coach finds that exact same speech. I'm like, I know you saw that it performed well on mine and now you're making content, but the reason I'm doing it is because my clients asked me to do it. So you do enough volume and you realize what's working, and then you double down on those and you do it again and again and again. I haven't missed making a video in, I think, 3 years, every single day. And that sort of consistency is hard for people to do. If you look at my Instagram, my TikTok, the average amount of times I post per day is 3 times. And that's why I've been able to grow as fast as I have. And if you want to have that kind of growth, you need that kind of mindset and that kind of effort too.